He liked the beer. It's supposed to taste like a Bananas Foster. He goes, I don't think I've ever had Bananas Foster before.
I mean, yeah, he's not 80. Who's had Bananas Foster?
I have.
All right, rich mother...
This week we're joined by Matthew Moldenhauer and Laura Vertucci for some spring cleaning. This is episode 107 of The Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's beast. This the Malting Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Malting Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to The Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Whittinger.
and special co-host, because our co-host can't seem to make it, to my left.
Matthew Moldenhauer.
Hey, Matt, welcome back.
Thanks. It's good to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, man. And you're not on here necessarily for an old Irving episode.
No, but I think we're always going to plug things like...
Like the beer we're drinking?
Yeah, like the beer we're drinking. Old Irving Maibach, Goat Destroyer, lager 3 months.
Is it available now? Oh yeah, by the time this comes out, it's available now. For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's available today. Is it available today too?
Glenn's picked it up. They're starting to ship it. I think we have it at the brewery starting tomorrow.
So by the time this episode's out, it's already been out for a couple days.
Unless you get your ass to work tonight and start editing really quickly.
That's true. Oh, man. So we had there's someone else here.
Wow, how many times do you forget?
Well, I know. I wasn't going to do it, and then I thought about it. I'm going to do it anyways. And she's going to talk later. But my wife, Laura, is here. Say hi, Laura.
Hi.
She's on this episode. Later on, she's got something to talk about that we're also involved with, and that Old Irving is also involved with. So she's going to join us later. She's not drinking. It's the first guest who hasn't drank anything. So that's cool. How does that feel?
Good. Feel good.
Is she really a guest, though? I appreciate she owns half of the podcast.
Kind of. Actually, Brandon owns most of the podcast. But it's about, we're like 5% here. We need more ads.
Make sure you're talking to your mic, Matt. You.
Yeah. I can turn them up a little bit. I'm going the wrong way. There's it. I went up.
Yeah.
And you're muted.
And we're not going to hear from him for the rest of the episode. So, so the idea for this week's episode was Dan's idea, but Dan couldn't make it, unfortunately. Was to spring cleaning of our beer refrigerators, and since I don't keep beer like everybody else, I actually went to a store and got some old beer. So that'll be fun when we get to that.
Oh, he's a cheater.
Sorry, the only thing I have is the 20... Oh, I do have... Shit, I've got that 2015 Cascade Crick beer.
And we weren't good enough for it?
No, you guys are. I should have brought
You
it.
should have brought the 3-liter of Woot Stout.
Oh, shit, that's right. I also... Oh, man. And I also have that Founders French Toast beer for you.
Or let's pause.
All right. I'm going to go back to the house, start over, see you guys in about a half hour. Matt, I know you said what we're drinking, but what are we drinking again? Sorry.
Yeah, we're drinking Goat Destroyer. So this has been sitting in our tanks for the last 3 months, because that's what we do with some of these darker, maltier lagers. It really helps. And I tried it last month while it was still in tanks. And trying it again now, it's just mellowed out even further.
Oh, nice.
And it's light and crisp, even though it's a 7% amber lager.
Oh, jeez. This does not taste like a 7% beer at all. I love my box. Like, we know my jaded history with lagers on this show.
We need to have like an insert Tony's recap of everything he didn't like about lagers, but now enjoys about lagers.
Yeah, exactly. But my box, Doppel, I'm noticing that box are what I like a lot. I think that's where, and then like Czech dark lagers I think are really good. I had one recently. I forgot who it's from, but it was like there was almost a smokiness to it. I don't think it was intentional, but it was very nice. But this is a good. I feel like this is a good example of a Maibach. There's a breadiness from this I really like. That was the first thing I got from
It's
it.
probably from the yeast.
Well, and that's personally why I think I'm in the same wagon as you, is that I like darker lagers.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has that kind of malt backbone and flavor that I used to be able to drink stouts all day and can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And now the lagers help with that because it's crisp and clean at the end that you can have a few of these and still feel functional.
It's a good thing you didn't go to Goose Island Stout Fest then, because that was a lot. Brandon and I will probably do a recap on that soon.
One of these days.
Yeah. We started our day with a beer from Double Clutch. I had their Doppelbock. What did you have? Did you have their House?
The Rausch beer?
Oh, yeah. The House Rausch. And then my last beer, I actually technically think was Wooden Wings from Phase 3 in the Goose Island Club, but the Phase 3 version, was Crispy Boy from Alarmist, because I needed to have something that was crispy and clean and not a big stout. Everything was delicious.
I'm glad that they had like Double Clutch and like Alarmist brought some other stuff, because it was much like Fobab where they had the Lager Lounge, which was like the saving grace. Like this, I think we were there for an hour for Stout Fest, and we were like, I don't know if I really want to drink anymore. It was like
we left a half hour before it ended.
Yeah, we left, which I'm actually also glad we did that, because then we would have been fighting for Ubers and all that other shit, so that would have sucked. But
I would have slept longer during the day.
It was like an hour in, and we were like, I'm feeling pretty good, you know. And we weren't like running to the races and like trying to like just chug stuff. We were like,
we took our time.
Yeah.
And we're doing our recap right now. It was a very well done event. It really was. Like, it wasn't super crowded. It was easy to get beers. The longest we waited in line was like one person maybe in front of us. Yeah. And it really wasn't lines. The foods were great. The food was great. It was cool the way they just walked around and handed out. I hope they continue to do it at the new location. R.I.P. Claiborne.
Yeah, I mean, last time there, but I mean, that's the nice thing when you actually have focused with everyone bringing stouts and having some of the best people making stouts in the city and around the city, is that everyone is kind of in the same boat. We're like, okay, we're gonna have to try everything.
Yeah, and there was we did a pretty good job trying most things, and we got to see Tim. That was good. And we got to try the Barrel Age Migration, which I don't know. That's not out. It's not out. When you guys.
Somebody commented it and said, "I'm coming in Sunday. Is it going to be there?" And they're like,
"It won't be
to
there."
Be determined.
At this point, we actually just got in the labels today. We're waiting on the black cans. Once we have those,
good. You guys are canning it too.
Yes, we are canning it, and then it will be on Osner. But we're still trying to figure out the date that we're going to release on Osner, and then we're also going to have a release party at Old Irving with Phase 3 and Sean and those guys.
Cool.
Yeah, this is one of our oldest beers. This one was aged 16 months.
That's insane.
I have the original Migration. I think I have one can of that left.
Oh, nice.
So I want to do a side by side.
Yeah, because I remember. Did we do it on an episode, or did we just drink it together? Because I had it with you.
It all blends together now.
I don't know what beers
I never remember.
Laura, what was your favorite Old Irving beer that you've ever had?
I don't know.
Okay.
She keeps me humble.
I like the Brussels sprouts.
I was just gonna say she does like the Brussels sprouts. It's very good. Yeah, it's good eats. Anyway,
I was gonna say my one thing about Stout Fest before we move on. I would not be upset if they moved it to the Barrel Warehouse.
Not at all. That would be.
It's such a gorgeous place.
I love it.
That would be a super cool idea.
That was the first prop day we went to together.
Yeah. That's when I tried Begonia.
Bedonia.
Begonia. Bedonia. That was so good.
The Mold Bourbon County. So good.
This was before anybody realized that there was that big open section, and there's just like
in half of a field.
Shack. Yeah, that's some wooden shack, and just two guys standing there like, what's going on here? And like, oh, they're just pouring random rare ass bourbon counties. Yeah. It was awesome.
Oh, that's what's great about theirs. They just have the most Willy Wonka stash. I mean, they're the OG of what made barrel aged beers. It's why Chicago's the epicenter for it all.
We got to try, what was it, 14 prop, 17 prop, and 15 rare while we were there. Like when we saw that we were gonna have that, I'm like, I know it seemed kind of like there's all these like great beers and beers I've never tried. I think I told Brandon the night before, I was like, I have to go and like try all those. Like, and 14 coconut, you can still taste it even after having Barrel Age Migration with the 1,000 pounds of coconut in it. It's not a knock it. It's such a good beer.
Only 450 pounds.
Sorry.
Wasn't it 450?
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Yeah, but the coconut you could still taste. in the 14 prop, and the Bananas Foster prop was really good. And then we had rare, a 15 rare recently, didn't we? When we went over there, Brandon?
Yes.
So.
I was laughing though because one of our listeners, Pat, was there with us as well.
What's up, Pat?
No, listen, good friend.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's also been on the show. We were standing there and he was drinking it and he's like, "It's good. I can taste the banana." And then his comment was, I was like, he liked the beer. It's supposed to taste like a Bananas Foster. He goes, "I don't think I've ever had Bananas Foster before."
I mean, yeah, he's not 80. Who's had Bananas Foster?
I have.
All right, rich mother.
I've had it at the place that it was created.
Neighbor Jeff and I have made Bananas Foster together, and I couldn't get my bananas to light. And then he just kept pouring more rum.
Sounds like a bad sex experience. I couldn't get my banana to light. So I had Jeff help me a little bit. we gotta go. And he gave me some more rum, and then
It would be less
the
rum.
banana was lit.
Okay, now I have to ask, where does Bananas Foster's come from?
So there is a restaurant in New Orleans called Brennan's, and they invented it as just like a fancy dessert, and it's cool there because they do it tableside. So like they come out and it's like
Well, you make it yourself.
Their version of like a Greek restaurant. You know, Opa, you're just like, holy shit, that's on fire, and like
My bananas are burning.
and then
Just see a doctor.
and then they give it to you. But yeah, that's right.
So you're saying there's places that don't do it?
There's probably places that don't do it tableside. I would think.
Old Mitch Hedberg joke. Go to Benihana, ask it to go. did you guys do the shit? Yeah? Okay.
I'll take it. All right, let's get into this spring cleaning. Brandon, what did you end up grabbing? Did you grab something yet?
Nope.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's got to be completely random.
Awesome. I like that. Let's start with. Other than starting with this, I don't know. You grab some. You grab some from you. Oh, I was just say or from the fridge. It's up to you.
I'll check to see what's in here.
All right, fantastic.
Just a Russian roulette of
I like it.
where the night's going to go.
I'm going to mystery beer it.
Mystery beard. Interesting. Oh, this is fun.
Do we all have to close our eyes?
No.
Well, you do.
All right, do you want to hand me your glass?
All right. If it's dark, it's a stout. If it's not dark, I won't know what it is.
Oh, I saw what it is.
I really wish... Did you...
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I wish Dan was here so I can tell him it's a Saison.
I haven't had this in a long time.
Oh, you know. Oh, so you did actually see it. Okay. Ooh.
I don't know if they did multiple years of this, but...
Ooh. I don't know what this is. Laura, take a whiff. What do you smell?
I have no idea. Chocolate?
Interesting. I thought you were going to say beer.
I was, but it doesn't smell like beer.
I don't think I've had this before either.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what it is now?
Well, I know what it is. I pulled it out.
I thought you literally just
no,
stuck
I
your
knew
hand
what it
in
was.
there and grabbed something.
No. Nope.
Is it chocolate and like some fruit? Is it like chocolate and cherry?
Close.
Raspberry?
Yeah.
So chocolate and raspberry.
What year is this?
I don't know. Let's see if it says. 2018.
I'm perplexed.
Here, this might give you a clue.
Oh my god, this is so much better than the first time Clark and I had this. Is this the math one? No. Oh, wow. So tell what is it? I can't. Fruitful what?
Fruitful Fort?
Fruitful Fort. So just so you guys know, chocolate and I thought chocolate and cherry. Do you guys have their math? I forgot what it was. Like math is in the title of it. It's literally like a chocolate and cherry beer, but it was like chocolate and cough syrup beer.
Ew.
It was really bad. Sorry, Dogfish. We still like you. But it was not a good beer. And it's actually, there's a bottle of it still sitting at Garfield's. And every time I see it, I'm like, is it better now? I'll have to look it up. But
Was it bad? Like, how was its ratings on Untappd? Was it overall rated pretty
I don't
bad?
remember. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Or
to
was
find out
it,
what is.
like, I'd be curious if it was just like, you got a bad bottle.
Well, I also
No, I've had
imagine
it twice.
a lot of times the cough syrup, depending on how high of alcohol it was, can come through kind of that medicinal, especially with cherry.
It was like their 20th anniversary beer. It's called Higher Math. The 20th anniversary? It is called Higher Math, though. Let me look it up. Because I know Clark... See, this is why I need Clark here, because then he can look this up, and I don't have to fucking worry about it. Yeah, so it's a Belgian Strong Golden Ale, celebrating 20 off-centered years with our luscious chocolate cherry birthday cake in liquid form.
Which is not the beer that we're drinking.
Correct. My first check-in in 2015 was, I don't get it. Clark says, you know what? You don't get it. Wait, what's that you said? Hi, I'm Tony. I don't get beer. I don't like good beer. What a dick. 1 year.
Did Clark like it?
I didn't see. Let me see. You had it, by the way. You put medicinal, literally. So that's I have more. He said delicious, perfectly sweet, and 17. He liked it. I don't remember Clark liking this. I remember Clark saying it was gross.
I don't remember liking Clark ever.
Yeah, maybe it was you and I. Yeah, fuck you, Clark. Anyways, what are we drinking? I know you said fruitful.
Fruitful Fort.
What is this beer all about?
So it's an ale brewed with boysenberry, raspberry, blackberry, and elderberry.
So where's the chocolate coming in?
Your mind.
It's blowing my mind.
All the malt.
I had to actually
18% alcohol.
What?
Yeah, that's what I remember.
That's what you don't remember.
I had to shake,
Oh, there she is.
I had to shake off a little, I think, I don't think it's oxidation, but there was definitely like a weird flavor. And then once I kind of swirled it around, it kind of came off and kind of opened up a little bit. Like a fine wine, it opened up. This is tasty. It's definitely not the math beer. I'm just going to keep calling it math beer. Yeah, I've never had this before. I remember seeing it. I had no idea it was an 18% beer. That's insane.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me. You should go back to that math beer at some point. So much of their beers, Dogfish had 120.
Yeah.
That was a beer that like you bought, put away for 2 years, and knew that it would be undrinkable for 2 years. I had it once at Hopleaf at Fresh. And I was like,
yeah.
That was good. Oh, no.
I like
these
it.
are so bitter.
Yeah.
See, I liked it. I liked it, like, being super bitter, but, like, you could only do a very, very small amount.
Yes.
Like,
I have
a
to split
sample
it.
size, 3-ounce taster is, like, more than enough.
A 12-ounce bottle is easy to share with somebody with that.
Exactly.
Like, that's about as far as
Like, if we had one, like, a fresh one. See, and that's something I'd be interested in doing. I'd have to look. I don't know if I have any 120s anymore. But, I mean, at one point, I had, like, 10-year-old 120s just, like, hanging out.
Whoa.
I would crack them, and they were, like... It turned into a barley wine, is what it did. Like, and,
Yeah, it's a well-made beer.
Yeah, it's
the
awesome.
hops and the hops fading didn't turn into, because I think there's so many hops in it. Excuse me. It didn't turn into, like, when you have a bad old IPA or pale ale that's like a year old in Jewel or your local grocery store is trying to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Not on sale, but the Bourbon County's on sale. And it's only been there for 4 months, and it's a beer that can sit on the shelves. An IPA like that.
I mean, to me,
Where's my rant?
that's always about oxidation and just how well it's done. Luckily, we have someone like Tim who really keeps everything.
God for Tim.
Yeah, it keeps a lot of our beers. Like I've had beers of ours that are over a year old, and you're like, oh, this is actually holding up extremely well.
That's awesome.
The downside of all those beers is when I was out in San Diego and you help make sure you clean up the beer and what's old. I would have Ninkasi, their Tricera hops double. That was like 10%.
That's a good beer.
I had that one at like 2.5, 3 years old, and yeah, the hops fell off, but it was still a really nice beer.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, this is what happens when you have a good packaging beer. It can hold up.
Well, that's what when you guys came in to do the Krampus episode, I was talking to Trevor and I was like, I think it had just been out for a couple of weeks was Prost, and I was like, oh, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, I think I have an old can from last year. He goes, that'll never go bad. He's like, the way it's made, he's like, that should last forever. It's like, maybe not literally, but for a while. So I'm like,
It's a pretty good delivery of Trevor right there, by the way, too. Oh, man.
Nobody can do Trevor except for Trevor.
That's true. I love Prost. That's such a good beer.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorites.
And that's what we talked about was
In
like
general.
we had just brewed a Cinnamon Toast Crunch beer.
Yeah.
And then we took it to the Brew Fest, and then a couple weeks later, Prost came out for the first time, and we both had it, and we were like, this is exactly what we wanted ours to be like. It's like, son of a bitch.
So you guys stole that from us. Thanks, Matt.
And
You're
we
welcome.
never know, like, I don't think we ever asked, I don't know if you know the story, but, like, I was told that there is, Trevor said, like, Prost was an accident. And then that was the first interview we did.
Didn't he say that in the first episode?
He did, but we never got into the stories.
Yeah.
And I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
And we never got back to that.
So Prost was the answer to an accident.
Okay.
So one of those, as I've been told, was especially when they were first making Trendy, which eventually became Beezer, and making hazies and learning how to get into all these aspects. They were making a hazy that ended up being too bitter and not juicy in the quality that you wanted. And so what Trevor did is he made a base beer, which was Cinnamon Prost, that had more of that malt sweetness back end to it. Obviously, we didn't add cinnamon and vanilla to a hazy, but then he blended those two to actually end up with a really nice hazy to help balance out the bitterness. But then afterwards, he was drinking and going, this is just a blank beer. I can do stuff with this. And then that's where they made the cinnamon and vanilla. One time, I'm still trying to get it back. They made Coffee Crunch, which they did a coffee version of it. I'm trying to do a Vietnamese coffee version of that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Make that happen.
And then Trevor's idea that he's always had with that is that he wants to do like a cereal collection where it's like off-name brand cereals and use that as the base and make some really cool versions of those types of
I'm on
things.
board for that.
Yeah, so
Because we've done, I mean, we've brewed with cereal. Like, we did a whole, well, not a whole, but we did, especially during Halloween, we did our cereal beers. We did, what was it? Count
Chocula and Frankenberry.
Frankenberry, yeah.
We actually sent them to
Brewlosophy?
No, Basic Brewing. Basic Brewing Radio, and they drank them, and they liked it. The thing we found out, though, was adding those, like, actual cereals, you don't get a lot from it. So we ended up with Frankenberry, unless you use, like, a shit ton. And I thought we were using a lot. Like, 5 gallons of the Count Chocula, we had like 5 or 6 boxes that we put in the mash, and
that's because you have to put it in the mash.
Yeah.
Being a home brewers, myself doing that, you can't do the post-fermentation things that all the professional brewers do, which is where you get all the flavor. I was actually just talking to Trevor about WeldWorks beer, and they're like, the furthest away you get it from the beer that's in the glass to your mouth, the further away you get from that, the less flavor you get. Yeah. The closer to that you have, the most amount of flavor is just throwing it right in the glass right before you drink it.
It's not a bad idea. French pressing.
Yes, which I've done that with, Goose Island.
So have we. We've got ideas. We've got a lot of ideas coming up. We'll let you know about that.
You take a fresh coconut, pour it into it, cover it, let it sit overnight, drink it. Best coconut stout I've ever had.
What?
Good, now we got another idea. Look out, TikTok, here we come. The way we found to counter that for it being so, actually that's a really good way of looking at it. The further away from the glass, the less you're going to get in the boil, because we had already kind of heard that cereals weren't really going to impart. It was kind of just like cool to say, like, hey, we added, like, for Halloween beer.
It's a great photo op.
Yeah, like,
you got sugar out of it.
So I added Baker's cocoa to the boil, and that gave a nice chocolate flavor to it. And for the Frankenberry that Brandon did, we racked it on top of some frozen strawberries and then kegged it. So both beers turned out good. The coolest thing about the Frankenberry was that it looked like, when it was coming out of the mash, it was like, remember how pink it was?
Yeah.
Oh no, or when it was done boiling, because after fermentation, the pink was gone.
Yeah.
All the color was gone.
It all settled out.
Yeah, it was gone. Wasn't coming back. But
like, just watching, I was like, this is going to be dope. Even if it was just that color, that would have been so cool. But
it looked like brain.
Yeah, but I like talking with you guys because you know what you're talking about, do the homebrew.
I think
and
so.
not to give a little bit away if you guys
still doesn't
doing
know
this
that we're
in
bullshitting.
In a show, you guys just did your collab with Howard Street Brewing, which I
Yes.
hadn't had before, even though I live near them. And you guys made a really solid pale ale, and most of their stuff is really nice. But yeah, you guys were actually able to work with someone and produce a
Spent
really
long
solid
hours creating
pale.
that recipe.
Yeah, it was crazy. Actually, that was Toby, the brewer, who the Howard Street brewer. He said it was one of his fastest brew days because we actually got in there and like did things with him, and he was able to do other things along the way. So it was kind of nice. It was a 4-hour brew day for him.
You mean you didn't hold a bag of grain over your shoulder, take a picture, and then start drinking?
Be like, all right, let's go back and pour in beers. No, we did everything. We dumped the bag and then continued to drink.
Yeah.
And then we did grade out and everything.
Yeah, everything until the
And
point
then
where
when it got
we don't need you.
once boil was done, and he was pretty much, he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
I'll handle it from here. I'm like, all right.
That was it. And all he did was he just had to transfer it to the basement anyway. So
Which
Gravity transfer.
I'm actually like
luck.
I did kind of want to see that.
yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
They're that setup's awesome. I still have a growler of that, so we should probably drink that soon.
Yeah, it's a delicious. In what I like is there's a lot of beers that I have. My go-to thought process is like High Life. We were just talking about lagers, and they do it well, but it's a single note.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And especially in craft beers, what I tend to look for is something that has a little bit more depth and complexity, even if it is a traditional stout or a pale ale. And what I liked about Sarcasm Starts at 10 a.m. is that
What a great name.
you had a little bit of sweetness, you had that crisp bite, you had the hop presence, and being in a pale ale wasn't, your early 2000s just hop to high heaven.
Yeah.
It had a lot of balance to it, but you had depth as well.
And it's funny, we removed. Had been calling it like it was. We were aiming for it to be a sessionable like pale ale because we were aiming for it to be just under 5% roughly. And then when it came in at 5.6, we're like, we can't call it a sessionable pale ale anymore. But when you drink it, it drinks like one.
Yeah.
Like it's very like the hoppiness on it is like pretty. It's super smooth. Like even like my wife who doesn't like hoppy beers, she was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good."
Speaking of wives, Laura, what did you think of that beer? You actually tried it.
I liked it.
Thank you. And Dan, my buddy Dan, also he is a straight like Bud Light drinker. Loves Bud Light, and he was knocking those back too. Like he enjoyed it. I feel like we got and those are and like Laura will always be honest about like beers and things I have her try. Like I said, I'm surprised she didn't say this just smells like beer, because most of the time I'm like, hey, try my beer. What are you getting from this? She's like, beer. Because a lot of stuff isn't like I'm not making anything super crazy. There've been a couple where I'm like, does it smell like orange juice to you? And I get a yes out of it at least. And we're blasting off.
It paired really well with pickle pizza.
Absolutely. But yeah, thanks a lot for saying that. I'm glad you came out for that. That was a lot of fun to do. And we've talked possibly about maybe doing another beer with them. Maybe this year. We don't know. We're thinking maybe a lager we discussed. So even more approachable. But I would love to brew that beer again because there was two things that Chuck and I don't know, Brandon, I don't know if you ended up agreeing with us. Like Chuck wanted to up the dry hop on it, get a little bit more aroma. And I wanted to add just a little bit more bitterness to it. Nothing crazy, but I just wanted like a little bit more. But it's good where it's at. I'm not upset.
I would say I would like just a little bit more bitterness. If you do more of the dry hopping, I think it, not that there's a real official term, but I feel it goes into that juicy category. Yeah. Not hazy.
Right.
But it gets into that, like, that fine line in between what...
Yeah, it would be a pale ale and...
But we like it the juice.
Yeah, you like it the juice?
Yeah. The juice is nice.
Do we want to have... I know we're close to probably a half hour. Do we want to have one more before? Or do we want to take a break and then have another? You guys tell me. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
And we're back!
We are back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that nice little break. We are here, joined with Matthew.
Hi.
That was good. Who was that little laugh to my right? It's my wife.
Laura.
Becca, I don't know if you want to say hi. You don't have to. You can just nod or say hi. She waved. Brandon's wife's here.
Don't worry, it's all being videotaped.
Becca's the reasons why we're able to do this show. Thank you, Becca.
Yes, thank you, Becca. I thank you.
Hey, take it easy. All right, what are we drinking now? You dug through, Brandon, you dug into your other beer.
You've got the bottle over there.
Oh, yeah, I can read it this time. It doesn't always have to be you guys. We are drinking Black Dragon Meadery's Blue Dragon Blueberry Cyser. In days of old, blue dragons were bold. They flew around in the thunder. Electricity. How am I supposed to pronounce that? Right?
Thunder.
No, not thunder. Okay. The electricity was frightening. Sorry, I'm treating you like Dan, and that's not nice.
No, it's not.
Electricity was frightening as they rode lightning and tore their enemies asunder. That was cool. Carbonated apple blueberry mead, 500 milliliters, 6.5 alcohol by volume. And this is, where are they out of? Where's Black Dragon?
Somewhere in Michigan.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm on their website right now. Apparently,
Gluten free.
must be somewhere nice in the summer because they close their tasting room for the season.
Oh.
It says,
It's near New Buffalo.
You guys, listen to this. Ingredients: honey, apple cider, blueberry, potassium metasulfite, pot, sorbet.
Pot?
That says pot.
About to have a fun
Pie?
night.
Pie or pot?
Pot. That's funny. There's no pot in this. There might be pot in this. Hypothesis. Yeah. It's an apple mead, traditionally called the Cyser, seasoned with fresh blueberries to an electrifying blue apple balance, and then carbonated until it breathes. Man, I need glasses. No, that's all right. That was it. Made until it breathes. Guys, what are your takeaways on this? Matt, we'll go with you first.
I quite enjoy it. Someone was mentioning a little bit of finger on the
enjoy it.
nose right off the bat, but I've always really liked Cysers. I like them a lot more than mead. Mead tends to be just way too much sickly sweetness all at once for me, where the Cyser, and especially the carbonation, helps cut through the sweetness.
Okay, I can agree with that.
I want to know what you think, Brandon.
So I was doing them when I first took a hit of the aroma. I got like a blast of, it was like vinegar. Now, and this bottle I think is at this point maybe 6 years old almost.
Shit!
If that, like, we've had it like, I'm trying to think of when we went up to Michigan. Like, I'm talking to my wife, who's not going to answer, but I'm trying to think of when we went to Michigan.
So they're in Benton Harbor, by the way.
Yeah. So like right outside of New Buffalo. I'm trying to think of when we went to Michigan. I think it was maybe 2017.
I'm gonna make Clark take me the next time we go up there.
And we brought that back, and we'd been like sitting on it forever. And I just saw it, and with her being on here, I was like, hey, let's crack into that to get rid of it.
It's taking up space. Becca.
Well, I mean, we've got a lot of beer in this house, and and when she's here to enjoy it, that's kind of nice too. So, but yeah, I get. It's got like this subtle like apple juice, apple cider kind of flavor to it, and then the blueberry is like coming through like very nicely, complements it super well. It says like lightly carbonated, and being as old as it is,
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna.
And I will say, like, that's probably the one thing we've had. It sat the refrigerator the entire time ever since we bought it. It just has stayed at the constant temperature. So
Best way to do it sometimes. You don't know if you're gonna get to it.
yeah, and I was worried. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, and it's pleasantly enjoyable, and definitely one like if we we haven't been to Michigan in a while, and I think we need to take a trip up there. One I would grab to bring back.
Yeah, I've never had a Cyser before. I've had meads. I've had ciders.
You've never had Zombie Killer?
I never had. No.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You just need to go out and grab
I know.
that.
No, I see
Like,
the
that's
bottle all the time. I'm like, that looks fun. Yeah,
With all the times you go to Michigan with Clark.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, I seeing that, I said, I'm like, well, now I have to, Clark, we got to go. This, Oh, bless you.
Isn't it?
Editor's note.
Not editing
At
that.
Chew.
I agree with what you said, Brandon. Like, there's like this nice apple juice, apple cider flavor. I have had meads before, so I do get that like honey sweetness, but the blueberries and I feel like the cider kind of really overpower what I don't like about meads, which is the super sweet meads, I should say. I really like this. I would get this again in a heartbeat. I like when blueberries are done very well, and I feel like this is the right place to do it. I like to know how many blueberries they used in this, like because blueberry, depending on it, like I don't know. We buy blueberries all the time, and sometimes it's hit or miss. It's like there's sweet ones, there's tart ones, there's shit ones. Ones don't taste like anything. Those are the shit ones.
Give me a squishy blueberry.
Yeah.
I'll kill you.
Damn right. If it's in my yogurt, it's okay. But it's hard to really like get this flavor into this without I have to imagine you're in Michigan. They're probably growing their own or have a source.
So why wouldn't you at that point?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, if this is your business, like
yeah.
Super excited that we pulled this one out and did it. I'm trying to remember. I mean, again, it's been so long. I don't remember if like it's any different than it was fresh, but I would love to have this fresh again.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like a roadside thing. We were just driving around, and I think she saw it, and she's like, "Hey, that says Meadery or whatever." And we pulled over to the side of the road, and we're just like, "Let's try some meads." And
why don't you ever do that when you're like, "Hey, look, there's a Meadery."
I would if there was a blueberry picking.
Touche.
Was a guy in his pickup truck?
No, it was actually.
Y'all want some mead?
Welcome, coming to my RV and have some of my meat. No, it was.
That is how they sound in Michigan.
It had yeah, right. It's the south of the north, Michigan, the south of the north.
With all the Trump signs, you'd think so.
Yeah. No, and it was an actual building, and I think they, I don't know. There was one place that we had gone to that was like half of it was like meads and other stuff you could taste, and the other half was like olive oil. Like, interesting. I'm like, we're gonna get wasted tonight, boys.
And make some pasta.
And we went in there, and it was just like you come in. They give you like the little thimble drinks, and we did that, and like
of olive oil. That's
no. Have you never been to the places where you taste the olive oil and they literally give you a thimble of like olive oil to taste? Yeah, there's places. Maybe I don't think it was Savannah, but no, like Gatlinburg. If you go to like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, there's like places there that sell olive oil, and literally it's just a shop where you go around and they have these big vats, and you pour off the flavored olive oils, and you can try them and then buy it if you like.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
feel like it would
love
be
reasons to
off
clog
of
my
bread,
arteries.
maybe, but
Like
just a straight.
But no,
shot.
but that's so you can do that too. Like they'll have like crackers or bread like all around the thing too, so you can like dip if you want, or you can just be a straight shooter.
They call me Shooter McGavin when I show up at those places. Oh man, here he comes.
I'm not crazy, right? Like I think we've gone to one before.
I'm not crazy. This guy's drinking.
I'm not
Dixie
dreaming
cups.
of heaven, right?
This guy's drinking
actually
Dixie cups
exists.
of fucking olive oil. Yeah, it's great. I don't think you're supposed to open it.
Oh yeah, wineries have done that too. Oh, and so there's I think Galena, Illinois is big on that too. They have, there's shops all down there. Like you can go in, like there's specific like hot sauce shops where you can taste all the different hot sauces.
That was like that when we
like,
went to Michigan City in Indiana. We went to a hot sauce shop.
I love places that are in the state.
Why'd you go to Michigan City, Indiana?
We stayed there. I found an Airbnb out there for our anniversary, and it was secluded. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty cool. It's like in the woods.
So is New York, Ohio. It's great.
I was expecting you to say, well, there was a camp show, and we were going there.
No, that's all. That's all of this year. If you guys are listening, we love you. Do you think they listen to this podcast?
Oh man.
Now I'm going to send it to them. Tell them you're their biggest fan.
Well, I just saw your wife fangirl. Are you wearing a camp shirt?
I am.
I'm wearing a brewery shirt. Bummer. Anyway, overall, we didn't rate anything, and that's okay, but we're going to rate this one. Out of 5 bushels of blueberries, Brandon. How many bushels are you giving this?
I'm going 4.5.
4.5. Becca, do you want to weigh in a number? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Out of 5.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Ooh, I like it.
My honors here.
Matthew, how many bushels are you giving this?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5, but on my own scale, that's very good. That's something I would go back to and drink.
That's good. No, yeah, and everybody knows that our scaling is weird. We're just
Whatever we're feeling in the moment. Just
not really great, but fuck, man, 4.75.
Well, that's what's great and unfortunate about.
This beer got me drunk.
It's amazing, but it's a 2.
About places where you can do those types of things. Everyone has their different own personal ratings.
Absolutely.
For me, like a 2 is something where I'm like, it's not stylistically something maybe I would particularly like, but it's not the worst. 3 is like, hey, I think they did a fine enough job. Yeah. 4 is like, I would definitely go back to it. I don't know if I've ever rated something above 4.5, and that's not because of trying to be hipster of like not rating anything high. It's just like my own personal of like, if something was a 5, I think that's the only thing I would ever drink again.
It's funny because I put Krampus in the buff at a 5. I would give this a 4.28 bushels of blueberries. I really like it. I would have this again for sure. Laura, what would you give this? Based on the label, because you do like labels. Here, let me put the labels in.
And the name.
I would give it a bushel and a peck.
Aww.
And a hug around the neck.
That's cute. I like that. That's great.
Also, I like a 10 scale better than a 5. 5 feels like you have it's like
good point.
Not enough.
Should we change the rating to a 10?
No.
Okay.
Did I just change the podcast?
Because you guys also do a 4.28, which is... If you're doing a 10 scale, then you just go, instead of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
If I was doing a 10 scale, no, it'll be great because I'll be like, that's a 6.321.
Did I hear a 9?
I think technically on a 4.28, what is that, on 100 or 1,000 scale that you've already made up?
I mean, that's where I'm at, and that's where that Cyser will sit. I liked it. I liked it a lot. For my first Cyser, I feel like that was a good introduction to it, and it's going to be hard to top, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't had one before.
I don't know if this is... I don't... Brandon, can you open this instead? I don't want to put a hole in your ceiling.
I can't...
Something so
I
scary.
feel like we have done this, or went at the old Fisherman's location. I feel like we had a couple Cysers on tap.
I think I probably...
A time or two.
I probably never had it. I was always just focused if you guys had brown sugar from Lagunitas on tap. That's all I ever want. From Lagunitas. I don't need Lagunitas
That was a
to
mistake.
make. I know. I don't ever need Lagunitas to make any other beer. They just make brown sugar, and that's it. It's my favorite beer.
I always like their 420 beer. Was it Waldo?
Oh, it just came out.
Waldo Special.
They just released it again this for right now for this time of year because it comes out normally around March, so it's ready, for around 420.
I wonder if they're going to be part of the Mars Dank Fest. We just got invited to be a part of that. That's going to be on 423.
Blaze it.
Which made me a little... Which is a Thursday. I guess they don't want to do 420 on a Monday.
423 is a Saturday.
This year?
Or is 420 the Thursday?
No, well, 423 is a Thursday. So that must
420
mean
is
it's
on
Monday?
math.
420 is a Thursday.
420 is Thursday. 420. I know 423 because that's my nephew's
Where are we
birthday
going?
party.
What's going on with this?
It's ingrained in my birth. And I think it's his birthday the 24th.
Hey everybody, welcome to the smoking hour, where we sound like a bunch of stoners who don't know when 420 is.
Oh, yeah. They're doing it on the 23rd because it's on a Saturday.
Blaze it. So 420 is on a Wednesday?
Thursday.
Wait,
Man, all the stoners are going to have a real fun time listening to this one.
So 420 is on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So the festival's on a Sunday.
Saturday.
Couldn't be, because Friday would be the 21st and the 22nd would be a Saturday.
Sure, math.
Math, who needs it?
So
Hey guys, what
420
is
is
it?
on a Wednesday.
Yeah. No, 420 is on a Thursday. He just looked it up.
But yeah, Mars is doing the Dank Fest.
Cool,
So that'd
yeah,
be
so-
really interesting if Lagunitas.
I would hope so. By the way, they're opening up the doors to
Want to try
their
this?
their facility here in Chicago very soon. So I'm pretty excited about
Berliner
that.
style
Looking forward to-
wheat beer.
Did you ever go to it when they were open?
Yeah,
The down here in Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, their actual tap room and everything.
that's right. Yeah, the Willy Wonka.
Yes, which literally is like walking into. You would like it, Laura.
Oh, it's...
It's cool looking.
Matthew.
Thank you. You have any suggestions on what beers we should bring for Dankfest?
Ooh, what's your dankiest dank beer? I have no idea.
I think I'm going to bring Shower Thoughts because it's going to be fresh
Oh,
and
good
out
idea.
at that point,
Good
and it's
idea.
going to be an Imperial Hazy with Rawaka, Nelson Sauvin, and Motueka.
Oh, here, you can take
Oh,
my
that's
glass.
a good mix right
I'll
there.
drink this.
So I
That's
mean,
good
it's
idea.
going to be super aromatic,
Yeah.
but
Just-
I also, to me, I think Dank, and I'm like, I want that West Coast, so I'm thinking we'll probably have some fresh Sentinel at that point, but...
Yeah, Sentinel's good. It's funny because I know it's Dankfest and with the idea behind it, but the first thought in my mind, I'm like, April, you guys should bring an Oni. Oni's just so good. It's not dank, but it's got a nice fruity hop flavor.
Speaking of which, my keg of
Aroma, I
Beezer
mean.
has blown sitting over there. I need to get a refill.
R.I.P. That's what I was hoping when I showed up. And
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
like,
what do you
have
what do you guys got for kegs?
On right now, you can still get... We just did Fresh Sentinel, that's only a week old.
Grab Sentinel.
And Beezer. Right now, we're basically refilling Beezer in the market every 2 weeks.
So Beezer's pretty much always available.
Yes, and our brewers and production people hate it right now because they're flying through so much, and it's one of those engines that you can't stop.
Man.
So no one gets a break at the moment.
Keep going, guys. Brandon, what are we drinking?
We are drinking Firestone Walker Brewing's Bretta Weisse Berliner style wheat beer.
Okay, that's the Brett. Like, I definitely was expecting a little bit of that tartness, but
Barrel ratio 100% French oak. Maturation time 4 to 8 months. Tight acidity.
Oh, yeah, that's my
7
favorite.
grams per liter.
My favorite is
Flora, proprietary blend of Brettanomyces and Lactobacillus cultures.
Oh, yeah. It is batch number 3,
Very
and
silly.
it was bottled in 2017. That I do know. I think it's like 4.6%.
So this one's 6 years old too.
Yeah, well, there's a local liquor store in not too far from us that has a tendency of keeping a lot of beers around. Some that, like this, I feel like work. Others, well, you're kind of bummed that you bought it and you got home and you're like, this is 4 months old. Like, 4 months old past the, like, fresh by date.
Yeah.
They don't really pay attention to that stuff. That's kind of a bummer. But you get things like this as well that are sitting around, and then sometimes they'll do... God, what was it? Who does Abyss? Duchette's. They had a couple of bottles of Abyss from like 2018
Oh wow.
that at one point they're like, yeah, they're $9.99. Just buy them. Like they were trying to clear them out. and it's
Okay.
like, all
you
right.
need the balance of those stores because otherwise you don't find gems like this.
Yeah, and there was another one. They had a red wild ale that I was between that and this, but I am more of a fan of Berliner Weisse beers. So what's your take on this one, Matt? So far,
It's always the Brettanomyces, hearing it over to my left too, where I love and hate the nose at the same time, where it initially turns me off. I want to then just keep smelling it, and then I just want to just keep smelling it over and over and over and drinking that, where it just keeps on growing on me. I think that's, originally, not to go back to the old horse blanket that most people don't even know that actually smells like.
yeah, I've
but
heard
it
that so
has-
many times, but I don't know what that smells like.
I do kind of, because my mom had horses growing up.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so it's kind of this like, and it's hard every time people talk about cat urine as an aroma in beer.
Boxwood.
Apparently we have a better term now. And so I'm trying to figure out what the better term for horse blanket is, because there's certain things where it's like kind of salinic and salty with a little bit of funk and a little bit of sweetness. But
Just like a horse's blanket.
but it doesn't turn you off. It just
Unlike a horse's blanket, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we learned the term boxwood from Joe from Dry Hop. He used to work in the wine world, and that was their term for when something had that cat urine smell. And boxwood is a root, I believe.
It's a plant. It's a little bit. Laura, what's a boxwood?
It's a bush.
Yeah.
That has a smell kind of like cat pee.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're ever walking around your neighborhood and you smell cat pee, it's probably a boxwood.
Or a
Or
feral
a cat.
just
Or a cat pee
all
around. Yeah, I mean,
We've got stray cats that run through our yard all the time.
we should talk to Joe and see if he's got something for horse blanket. I'll text him tonight and see if there's something. But I understand what you're saying. I always get like there's like this tartness to it, like a sourness to it, but not like an off-putting sour.
It's sharp.
Yeah, but then there, I don't know what else what to say about it as far as the aroma. But to me, it's a familiar one, especially for like something with Brett and lacto in it. So this one in particular, I'm gonna channel my inner Danny hip hops. It's got a nice tartness to it, like when I first took a sip. But then there's like there was almost like the slight aqueous.
Yes, I knew you were going.
Yeah, it really was. But like it's not as which is actually pretty nice because it's not like there wasn't like it was in the beginning. Now I get more like there's more layers to it. There's a little bit more like breadiness to it. There's tartness to it. But my first sip, I guess maybe because I was expecting it to be much more tart than it is. But it's a Brewing Weisse, so I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be like super tart and drying of my mouth. But when I think of Brett and lacto together, that's what I kind of thought it was going to be. But this to me is really refreshing. It's kind of like a good beer you could like sip on in your yard on a hot summer day. You know what I mean?
Right now, I mean, that's what I love about Brett and lactose is you can come back to it next year and it can be something completely different.
Also true. But there is like a lightness to it, right? Like there's it's not just full funk in your mouth. Is that the beginning of the episode?
That's the episode title.
Fuck. I don't know if you want to be on this one, Laura. Full funk in your mouth.
I was gonna say, did we record Tony's rant about the bananas?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, we did. That was a part of the Bananas Foster. Brandon, what are your overall on this?
I like it. It's super light, but it's got a good medium body. The lactose, the lactobacillia, and like the Brettanomyces, those two together, I think always just work really well to give it a nice creaminess. And like a good like tart forwardness. So it's tart. It's kind of got like this medium-bodied, creamy mouthfeel. Finishes super clean, and this isn't like my go-to style, but it's good enough, and maybe it's because it's 6 years old. Like I feel like I can continue to drink this and not get like heartburn.
Yeah,
because there's other ones that you'll get through half of a glass and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna start feeling this.
That was my fear of getting the wild fermented red ale, because every time I see a red ale and wild fermentation, my mind goes to like a Flanders, which would just peel away the enamel from my teeth, burn my esophagus,
which is good, but it's like
yeah, it tastes great.
In 1 ounce pours.
And I think the last time I had like a good Flanders was probably at Hop Leaf. They had something, and it was just like it blew my mind. It was really good, but it was also like even to that I was like, okay, I'm done with this beer after this point. And
yeah, you don't have to have another one.
I need a stout or something hoppy to just like counteract all of the.
We should, as the podcast, start the first like Flanders Fest. You know, we should do a Flanders Fest where it's all Flanders red, and it's also
not Ned Flanders,
but also Ned Flanders is involved, and we get like Tums involved.
Well, that'll increase the amount of participants.
Absolutely.
Yeah, are you gonna fly in all the breweries from Belgium? Because how many?
We'll go there. We'll
just do it in Belgium.
Yeah,
even if it's on a street corner.
We'll talk after the episode.
Get that pop frites.
I moved. I was going to say, Laura might have your Tums over there, but I think I moved
They're over there. Gotta have Tums when you're drinking sour beers.
We were drinking something the one time, and he was like, I got heartburn, so I brought Tums, and I just leave them at the corner of the bar for over there.
Just in case, especially when drinking random styles.
So here's my question for you guys with wild ferment and sours. One of the things that I have issue with is, and that I love, is that you come back to it and you can have the exact same beer. It's what I love about Orval. But every time you have Orval, it's never the same.
Right.
Do you think that ends up being a detriment for it actually gaining fans and customers and people because you don't have consistency?
Yeah.
I would say yes and No, I feel like there's other people who like that.
Way to improv and then deny it.
I mean,
Yes, and.
Yes,
But no.
and. Yeah. Laura, we talked about that. Yes, and.
Yes.
Okay. And we did discuss it. Yes and no. I feel like that's something that might be attractive to drinkers who like that beer. I haven't had one. Actually, I saw one at Beer on the Wall a month or two ago. And we were going to do the Belgian beer episode. And I saw that. I was like, oh, man, I forgot all about this beer, like, even existing. But I think yes and no. That it's probably, there's a lot of people out there who may have had it once and then had it again. They're like, no thanks, or they weren't getting what they were getting before, so they never went back to it. But the fact that it's always changing could also be the reason why other drinkers go to it. I would like to go back and revisit it, especially now, because last time I had it was at Fishman's, and R.I.P. It's been a long time since I've been there.
Quite a while.
Well, they're closed now. So, all right. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next... Oh, wait, sorry. We got
to talk about Meals on Wheels.
that too. Ooh, spoiler alert. Also, real quick, what's left? What do we got? One more left. Where are we at on time? Aggie, thank you.
I know. Thank you for the
1 hour.
All right. Why don't we do this? Brandon, grab something. Mm-hmm. We'll crack it open, and we're going to have Aggie and Laura tell us. Laura, welcome, by the way, to the show. I know you've been off to the side this entire time, and thank you for joining us and sitting through what I do when I come here to hang out with Brandon. I appreciate it.
It's been a real blast.
Really? Have you had fun?
Uh-huh.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did.
Even though you weren't drinking?
100%.
Brandon just poured us some beers. We're going to talk about that beer. But first, the main reason why you're here is because you are on the, what did you call it? I asked you on the right in here.
I'm on the associate board at Meals on Wheels Chicago.
What's Meals on Wheels Chicago, Laura?
We serve the city of Chicago's homebound seniors and people with disabilities and get nutritious meals to them in their home, which improves their quality of life and their ability to stay and remain in their homes. There are over 10,000 clients in the Chicagoland area. And unfortunately, isolation is a big part of their life, and their driver often is the only person that they see during the week. And to keep this outstanding organization running smoothly, we rely on donations and proceeds from events, sponsorships, and volunteers. I'm mostly on this show tonight to talk about an upcoming event in April.
What is this event? I am so excited.
It's called Chicago on Tap.
We've been to it before. We did it. We went.
We did. It
Yeah.
was at Talia Hall, and
Yeah,
it was
so much fun.
several years ago.
Yes.
It's now at Theater on the Lake.
Which I've never been to. You've never been to theater, right?
Nope.
Yes, I've gone to comedy shows since it's been renovated. It's amazing. It's talking to our brewers actually today. This is one of the only events that they're actually excited about wanting to be a part of. Being on the lake, we have a couple people, including our sales rep Nate, who's an actor, and LJ, who's an actor, who've been there and they just love the space, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think we've all, growing up, I knew neighbors and people that were always using Meals on Wheels, and I think it's one of the biggest organizations that's really touched pretty much everyone I know's lives and helped people. So, for
it's
us,
excellent.
It was easy.
Well, and I'm glad you guys are a part of it, and I'm glad to hear that the location is cool. I've not yet been. It's close to Lincoln Park and the Diversey Harbor.
Yeah, it's
that
right
what-
next
yeah.
to the zoo.
Yeah.
I used to
It's right
live
across
right
from the
there.
zoo, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so
Cool,
I
cool.
would go down to the lake. And so just even that night, if they have any amount of being able to see outside, it's just gorgeous to be able to see the entire Chicago skyline.
Yeah.
And being on the lake.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
It's one of my favorite parts.
I'm excited to see the building just because growing up in Chicago, anytime we got off the highway there, it was the dilapidated building that was boarded up. Or if I was rollerblading or riding my bike on the lakefront trail, you'd go by it and I'm like, what a waste of a building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when they revamped it and reopened it, at the time, like they had their head chef that was running the thing was Cletus Friedman, who used to run Fountainhead and used to have City Provisions. he was a great chef and like kind of put that on the map culinarily, you know, on that aspect. And then he moved on to other things. But so I've been like itching to go there ever since it's reopened because, I mean, what a cool spot.
Now we've got our chance.
On April 27th.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so why don't you tell us what it's all about?
There's going to be roughly 20 breweries, 60 different types of beers, and
Including Old Irving.
Including Old Irving, yes. And I was hoping that if you've already decided that maybe you could...
Do you know what you guys would be bringing around that time? In a month?
In a month.
Or have an idea.
Yeah, it's probably going to be...
Barrel-aged migration.
Totally. Gotta get barrel aged there.
I'm probably going to bring something special, something that you would particularly like. I always like to do something what people don't expect.
Yes, why Tony? Why does he get something he likes?
Brandon, it means you're going to like it too.
Because he told me that Krampus in the Buff was a 5 for him.
Oh!
But I typically like to do
I would like a keg right here. On tap.
Most likely, if it's like me, it's probably going to be Della, something that I love that's easy drinking. Probably Shower Thoughts, something
guys
that's
don't know,
nice and hype and hazy.
Della's delicious Kolsch. Which I love my new Della button on my coat, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, what else were you going to bring?
Shower Thoughts, because I always like to bring something hazy and big and
Got to.
Beautiful. And then usually I'll kind of oscillate either between, like, at this point it'll be Cushy Blood Orange or Sour, or maybe something a little bit fruity. That's kind of my, like, up in the air, last minute decision type thing.
Fun.
Awesome. I look forward to trying those. And I will drink that night.
Woo!
Because I'm taking off the next day, so...
I think I am too.
Of course.
Go to New Orleans the next day.
Yeah, Brandon's got a flight.
Is it a Thursday? Is it a
It's
Saturday?
It's a Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
It's a
As
Thursday.
you know, I
It
no
is a
longer have a
Thursday.
5 a.m. flight, though.
Hey, good job. What else? Anything else?
Yes, there'll also be some Chicago restaurants. Yeah, handing out bites to eat. Raffles with prizes from different breweries. Gift cards to different Chicago restaurants. Sporting events. Theater, comedy show, packages that we're putting together. A live band, Leadfoot Band. And then everybody goes home with a 2023 Chicago on Tap souvenir pour glass.
You know, we got those cool little taster glasses.
Yes.
I've got that's the next day. That's Friday. I've got the glasses from the first time we went.
Yeah. Those interested in joining us can find tickets at mealsonwheelschicago.org and click on the event Chicago on Tap to buy your tickets.
Also, there is a special little promo code that if you want it, you're going to have to email us at the Malting Hour and be sure to put in the subject either Chicago on Tap or Meals on Wheels or why is Laura with Tony still?
Tony's wife.
Tony's wife. Please don't put Tony's wife. Actually, put Tony's wife. That's funny. And we'll send you a special promo code that it's a little discounted ticket, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be able to use it. We're not just going to blow it up. You're not just going to get it for free. You're going to work for it, like they do at Meals on Wheels, feeding the elderly, working all the time.
So, and how do they email you?
We
It's
haven't
the info at the fucking multihour.com.
we haven't said
At
that.
the fucking Malting Hour?
Oh, no, don't. Oh, no, I blew it. I'm ruining this for Meals on Wheels.
I'm literally gonna write an email address at the fucking multi-hour at the multi-hour.
You said Google doesn't care about periods. I thought they wouldn't care about dropping the F-bomb.
So what is the actual ticket cost? Hello, Aggie.
The ticket cost is $75, but with the promo code, it'll be $60. So
you save $15.
Yes.
Plus, if you don't end up using the promo code, that $75 is, especially if you're in Chicago.
Going to a good cause.
Yeah, it's going to a great cause.
It's direct to yes.
So, and like Matt said, like I think everybody, at least in here, either knows somebody or has been a part of. I remember when in my teenage years, I did some youth group thing where I actually worked with Meals on Wheels and prepared some meals to send out, which was a lot of fun and nice to do. So it's an important event, and it's super cool because a lot of local breweries, some that have been on this show other than Old Irving, are going to be
Street.
there. Yeah, Howard Street will be there.
Ravinia.
Yep, Ravinia. They haven't been on the show yet, but yes, they will be there. Rev's going to be there. Revolution's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Do you have the other ones?
Yeah, Buffalo Creek Brewing and Crushed by Giants.
Oh yeah, our friends Crushed by Giants, Dry Hop.
Hopewell,
and,
not Hopwell.
Right,
Like
Hopewell,
I
you did it.
mispronounced.
That's right. Everybody said Hopwell the first time they saw it.
Hardly Water is another one that and they
yeah.
do a. I think it's a cider or no, I'm sorry.
Hard seltzer.
Hard seltzer.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
my jam right there.
Metropolitan.
Oh yeah, that's
Had
right.
my birthday
I'm
party
excited
there.
about that.
Was great.
Yeah, Metropolitan.
Always love some good lagers. from
Their
them.
beers are so good. So I mean, even just with that, like that list right there, and knowing, and then there's food. There's
Yes,
food involved.
there's food. Yes, sure.
And we're gonna be there.
And we'll be there.
Matthew, are you gonna be at this one?
I will. Myself and Nate's going to be there as well. And hopefully some of our brewers, I was
That would be
telling them
cool.
about this, they're excited. What I love even about this, most beer fests nowadays are anywhere from $60 to $150 plus for beer fest. And this being $75 is not all that expensive, and it goes to a great cause, which is usually the great cause is drinking good beer. In this case, you get to drink good beer plus feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's on a Thursday night, and it's the first night of the NFL draft. Just look at it on your phone.
Priorities.
You know what I mean? Priorities, right? Is that right? Nobody else cares?
Not everybody cares about the football draft.
I do. Who's going overall number 1 for Chicago?
Oh, well, that's our number 9 pick, though. Oh, yeah, overall. Sorry, we'll talk about that afterwards. Brandon, real quick, what are we drinking?
We are.
Because I think we're like an hour and 45 minutes for this episode.
Hour and 15 so far.
That's not bad.
We are drinking a 2016 Dark Lord. It's black with sparkles. That's the wax color. Made with dark matter unicorn blood coffee.
I didn't get coffee. And you know what I didn't get also?
No.
I didn't get soy sauce.
No soy sauce whatsoever.
I got sweet, barrel-aged stout.
I'm getting like a little hint of smoke or something in the back end.
You know what else I didn't get? Green pepper with coffee being in there. So
Yeah.
I'm liking this one a lot all
For
around.
being 7 years old.
Yeah. And Dark Lord Day is coming up in May. They just announced...
That's the other reason why I did this. Just kind of, we're not going, but...
No. I got a concert to go to with my wife. We're going to Arkansas. We're going to go see Camp. Are you familiar with them? She's got the shirt. I wish there was a video for this. Good choice, Brandon. I can't... I think the only time I've ever had Dark Lord has been with you, and then when Ron brought one over for my... No, not Ron. Somebody brought over for my 39th birthday right before the pandemic hit and the world went to shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It happens.
Good times.
And I remember...
Not really sold.
I think Gus brought some hitters. to the party.
Gus brought, I think, Dark Lord. I think Gus brought the Dark Lord. How many skulls would you give this?
I'm going like 3.75.
3.75. Interesting. Okay.
We haven't changed the scale. We're still at 5.
Well, okay, fine. For this one in particular, we're going on a 10 skull scale. Ooh, the 10 skull scale.
Yeah.
Multiply it by 2. Do math.
Yeah, do math.
Okay, I'm gonna do maybe a 3.7.
Oh shit.
I'm just lazy and I don't like to change numbers.
So we're at a 5. Okay, so Brandon's doing the 5-point scale.
No, if we want to go 10, that's fine. I'm like 7.5.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I feel like that's your 3.75.
Yeah.
Becca, did you get some of this?
She did.
I tasted it. I'm not a fan.
See that?
I think after you said soy sauce.
Out and see.
Oh no!
that's
Sorry.
something.
Yeah, that sometimes is
It's a
impressionable.
little smoky and salty.
I apologize.
Maybe like dark chocolate caramely.
That part's
Dark
nice,
chocolate
right?
salted caramel, perhaps.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Laura,
Yeah,
would you like some
very
no, I
much.
hate this.
Would you like some dark chocolate salted?
I mean, for me, that's actually kind of the reason I'm,
You like
4.2, 8.5. Like, for me, this is actually one of my favorite stouts I've had in a while. You have the depth. There's absolutely, obviously, the age. There's no burn whatsoever, but
No.
dark chocolate salted caramel is like spot on
Yeah.
for everything.
Good descriptor.
I'm with you guys. I'm gonna go about 8 skulls.
Okay.
8 skulls on this. I like that. Laura, way to go with the... Oh, you want to judge this? Look at
The label.
Dark Lord. Look at that. I mean, that is...
That looks like something my brother would have played with when he was a little kid.
So how many skulls would you give this?
Hailing Satan.
Hell yeah. How many skulls would you give this out of 10?
I would give it 6 skulls out of 10.
6 skulls out of 10. I say that's decent, especially for your first like full like rating. Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks for asking me.
Well, hey, thanks for
including me.
Thanks for sitting through this, one of our longest shows ever. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's not anywhere even near the Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was like 3 days long. Well, you guys,
fun.
that was so much fun. That actually.
Can I ask Laura one other question?
Please
Just
do
because
so.
I've not gotten to know you a little bit. How did you get involved with Meals on Wheels,
shit.
and what brought you into everything?
Asking the real questions.
Yeah, I
Fucking Tony.
you know, like a lot of people looking for some way to, you know, spend my time wisely and positively and give back. One of my coworkers was the executive board president for a couple years, and our firm, Monahan Law Group, is always a big supporter and sponsor. She said that there was an opening on the associate board, so I, just before the world turned upside down, and
She's talking about that somber face I made earlier about the pandemic.
yes, I joined and have really been enjoying myself ever since. And this is our first on tap since I've been on the board, so I'm really excited to be on this side of it, because like Tony said, we went in 2017,
Somewhere around there,
2018 to Talia Hall, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really like being a part of it. So
Glad it's here.
Out of
Yeah.
curiosity, like, I mean, you joined the board right before the pandemic, but I would have to assume that there was a huge uptick in need for like Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Like,
you're exactly right. That's true.
and it's probably still reeling from that too. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it made everything harder, obviously, to get you know,
Food to
everything
people,
situated
yeah.
and food to people, and people who were already isolated even more so. March of 2020, we did a virtual 5K, and that was a good way to raise funds when we couldn't be doing the in-person things, such as this on tap event and our summertime golf event and our celebrity chef ball event. We're all
Yes.
off
Celebrity-
the table.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
That's a big one. We just had that in October, and so yeah, we're excited to get this on tap back up and running and
To get the on tap back on tap.
back on tap. I love it.
Thank you.
April 27th, Meals on Wheels, Chicago.org.
We're going to put the link in our episode description, and obviously as we get closer, and probably pretty much from here on out until the, you know, because we're going to be there, and we want you guys to come out too. We'll probably keep posting about this as well. And don't forget to email us at info@themaltinghour.com and put in either Meals on Wheels in the subject, put Tony's wife in the subject, put Aggie the cat in the subject. Either way, just put something in there to request the promo code, and you can save $15. And if you don't do it, that's okay. You can still buy tickets and come out, hang out with us, have some food, drink some beers, local beers, and support a good cause. And thank you for joining us, Laura.
Thank you guys for having me.
We
thank
appreciate
you,
it.
thank you.
Hey, Becca, thanks for joining us too.
Oh, thanks for letting me
Yeah.
crash.
You know, there's a plan. We have a plan that we've talked about where all the wives will be here one day. We'll just sit back and watch it ride, but that's still probably a couple years in the making. We'll see one day. Matthew, always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I love hanging out with you guys and sharing great beers and helping good causes.
You know, you're eventually going to replace Dan and Clark, just so you know that. You'll be the third co-host. Where you eventually you're just going to make your way on here.
I figured we'd just have an offshoot. That way you have a network.
The real malting
I
hour.
like
the
it.
real
The
malting hour.
real malting hour. Yeah, that's why Dan and Clark can never come on, because they're doing the real malting hour that I still can't find online. That's kind of weird. Anyways, Brandon, love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
Thanks everybody for listening, and don't forget to check out the Meals on Wheels on tap on April 27th, and check the link in the bio. Send us an email. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at the Malting Hour.